everybody. How you doing today? Welcome back. It's Gas. You've got Gas, the great American auto scene. On this auspicious occasion, 9/11. We're glad you could tune in with us, and I hope we give you a good show. We're going to have an ex-Marine on the show in just a little bit. He's going to talk about a new drag strip that's opening up in North Carolina. We're going to have Rick Seaman, a stunt school driver instructor. He's going to be on the show in just a few moments, and we're going to be talking about cruising for a cure. Along with us tonight, as always, is the lovely and inimitable Bruce Parker.
Every time.
I get you, yeah.
I don't even know what to say, so I switch away from myself immediately.
Yeah, and then the always patriotic, the blonde with the mostest, it is Anna Octane. And she's laughing because she got some laughing gas, little nitrous oxide bottles sitting in her.
Yeah, I have nitrous. You have gas.
That's right, yes. Well, they're both gas. It's just one does something differently.
That's right, yeah. One does something a little faster.
Yes. Speed things up. Hey, we're glad you can join us tonight. Like I said, we've got a pretty good show for you coming up. What we'd like you to do, though, is like us on Facebook. Go to GAS, G-A-A-S, the Great American Auto Scene, and like and follow our page. Share the show with us, with people. That'll be, now the show doesn't go out over GAS originally. It goes live over Facebook, my page, Bob Beck. And then we transfer it to GAS later on. We may start switching that around to see how it works, but that's where it's going. We're going to try and get it on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram as time goes by. There are GAS pages on all of those as well. But we hope you enjoy the show. If you do, please tell your friends. If you don't, please tell us. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do. But we got lots to talk about. There's a lot of things going on. Bruce, you've had a pretty good trip.
Man,
you just came on.
What a trip. I don't even have photos together yet. Bob, before the show started, I got to see if I can get into the camera shot here a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
We did a Route 66 trip.
We did.
But,
you did.
Yeah.
We did.
Things got a little convoluted here and there simply because... things can go wrong, but nothing went wrong with the 1970 Volkswagen bus.
There you go.
Here's the short version of the story. I think we'll get this published in what used to be called CAR, Auto Restorer, or maybe Old Cars Weekly or something.
Okay.
Anyway, took my dad's 1970 Volkswagen bus, Type 2, the Transporter.
Yeah.
And we just figured, okay, we'll do the reverse of what they did in the song, which goes from Chicago to California.
Right.
We're going to take it the other way. My sister lives... near Route 66 out in San Bernardino County. So we got the bus, got it, got the brakes, and went through the electrical a little bit. Got it enough, got it enough running, but no cosmetic work whatsoever. Okay. So it's as it was, as pulled from mothballs, where it kind of sat for years and years. That thing performed flawlessly. Now, the top speed with 5 of us in it. I got a brother, 2 sisters, and my dad. Yeah. And top speed's 55. That's all you can get.
You don't worry about a speeding ticket, then?
No, you don't.
That's cruise control, right?
It so is.
Yeah.
Although, we were on one of the turnpikes in Oklahoma, and the minimum speed was 50. And we were just going, man, I gotta keep...
We gotta check,
Yeah, because up the hills, you could not do 50 in that car.
Back in high school, we had a friend that kept getting speeding tickets, and his parents said no more Chevys. They got him out of his Chevy. He had a 301 59 Chevy, and he'd street race the thing. They put him in a Volkswagen. The first week he had the Volkswagen, he's coming back from surfing down at Santa Monica area. He had 2 boards on the top of the roof of the Volkswagen and 2 guys in the Volkswagen Beetle with himself, and they got a ticket for impeding traffic coming over the San Diego Freeway Hill. He never lived that one down.
Oh, man. Well, more on that Route 66.
Yes, we'll talk about that. We've got a guest calling in just a moment, Rick Seamans. If you want to be a stunt driver, Rick Seamans operates a school out of beautiful downtown. Where is that? The track?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're the one that introduced me to him.
Yeah, Rick is cool.
No.
I forgot.
It's up in the Antelope Valley at the Willow Springs Raceway.
Oh, okay. Willow Springs.
And it's in Roseman, California. And Rick's on the phone with us right now. Rick, how you doing?
Unbelievable.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, I'm good, Bob. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Are you sliding in sideways into our show?
Well, I'm all done with that for the day. We got done about an hour ago. And now I'm all yours.
How many students did you have today?
8.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Is that a big class for you?
It's huge.
Well, that's
Good.
good. And what are you teaching them? What'd you teach them?
All the groundwork for motion picture and television stunt driving.
So the people go to your class and they become stunt drivers. We talked about Jennifer Caputo Armstrong a little while ago.
Yes.
Right.
And she's an excellent stunt driver.
That's because I trained her.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, now she's drag racing. She's driving the Mullen Magnum, and she's got that thing down below 10-second lap times on the quarter mile. So she's got this big Hemi Magnum moving on strong. Now, you operate out of Willow Springs Raceway, which is a very very popular road racing course here in Southern California.
It is. We've been going for 22 years now. We started off at L.A. County Raceway, which was the drag strip.
I remember that. I was there when you started out there.
And then they dug that up as a gravel pit, unfortunately, and we moved out to Willow Springs, and we've been out there for 11 years. We have a great relationship with the folks out there that own the track. It's family-owned, and they love us, we love them, and we hope to stay there for a long, long time.
So you teach people how to drive. Now, we're watching some video right now of you or somebody hitting some water and basically going sideways, spinning out almost 360s. That's just part of what you teach.
Exactly. We cover it all the spins and slides and near misses and precision driving, all that stuff that you have to know how to do.
Isn't that called driving on the 405 freeway at 4 p.m.? Class?
Right, but the difference is those people on the 405 don't have a clue what they're doing.
Yeah, it's true. Now, you also teach
Survivor
youngsters,
driver.
kind of a survivor class.
Yeah, that's our teenage driving program. That's for, what you might call problematic teenage drivers. Their parents send them out there to us because they've had tickets and accidents. They've wrecked daddy's car, and we give them a 1 or a 2 day program that kind of gets them on the right track. We put them in situations that they wouldn't be able to be in normal driving without being at the real thing, to where they freak out. So we put them in those situations to where they can feel it, understand it, and then we show them how to get out of this situation, and it works pretty good.
And you've been doing this for how many years now?
We're on our 22nd year.
Wow.
And you go to the East Coast, too, and teach that, don't you?
Yeah, we have a class back in New Jersey. I go back there about 6 times a year between April and November.
You get any New York taxi drivers in your class?
No, but I've had some New York City police take the class.
Oh.
Yeah, and interestingly, we try and teach them not to get too crazy on the throttle, coming out of a drift to where you end up going into a donut. And one of the active duty New York police cops did just that and got crazy on the throttle. And I got on the walkie-talkie and I said, well, very appropriately, the police officer just took himself to the donut shop.
Good one.
And as I said that, I went, oh, Rick, you shouldn't have said that. He's going to put the handcuffs on me. But no, he laughed. He got a kick out of that.
All right, so some of the things that you teach it.
There's Rick right there.
We got pictures of you going right now with the mic, with the walkie-talkie. We got some more vehicles doing complete 360s. Is there any movies that we would have seen you driving in?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Couple hundred. Okay, so you're just in the beginning.
I go. My movie career goes back to 1968.
Did you work on Smokey and the Bandit?
I did. I worked on Smokey 3.
How about
we
that?
just lost Bert, so
yeah,
God bless him.
Me and a couple other guys on Smokey 3, and Lethal Weapon, and Jump Street 21, 22. It just goes on and on.
So, Rick, we're seeing a lot of rear drive cars here, and what do you guys do? Since front drive cars kind of came into vogue 15, 20 years ago, is it a whole different style, or do you even bother with cars that pull from the front wheels?
Well, we do both front wheel and rear wheel drive. We focus mainly on rear wheel, but we do some front wheel drive stuff. And the big difference is if you're sliding a car to a stop, like a 180 or a 90 to a stop, there's really no difference. But if you're sliding around a corner doing what we call skid turns or drift turns, it's entirely different. Now the throttle becomes your friend. It pulls you out of the slide, whereas if you get too throttle friendly on rear-wheel drive, you end up spun out. So there's the difference.
And most, you make the stunts look so easy and safe, but there really is a lot of planning that goes into this, isn't there?
You're right. I tell my students right from the start that my favorite four-letter word is prep.
Right.
Get into these cars early, make sure they work properly, that the emergency brakes lock up the rear wheels so you can spin and slide. And scout your location, see what you're looking at, and there's just a lot of blueprints go into this kind of work.
And we're looking at the stunt stuff, but you also do the survivor driver for teens, and you do the rehab driving program for the veterans with traumatic brain injury, which kind of ties into our 9/11 theme here today. Do you want to tell us a little about that too?
Yeah, well, we started this a couple of years ago, and with traumatic brain injury, your biggest challenge is just anxiety, fear of getting back behind the wheel, getting your driver's license back, because when you're diagnosed with TBI, that's like a rubber stamp on your forehead. You lose your license through the state. So these guys would love to get their license back, so we take them out there and we take them step by step, cautiously, easily. Each one's a different situation, They have different needs, and we just get them feeling good behind the wheel. And if they can take that to a retest and get their license back, that's great. But if they don't, after 2 or 3 days with us, at least they've had the opportunity to feel that freedom once again.
Right. Yeah, you do such a great service for not only teens but adults too. I want to come and take your survivor driver program.
I think you should take the stunt driving too. Yeah.
Well, she's already a stunt driver. We need her to take the survival class so we can make it.
Yeah. So how do our listeners get in touch with you if they want to come to your course, which is so fabulous and fun?
Very simple. It's on that video, and I'll give you the phone number.
Okay.
818.
Okay.
341 9526.
So that's 818-341-9526 for Seaman Stunt Driving School and Survivor Driver Program and Traumatic Brain Injury Program. And I hope our listeners call you up and come have fun at Willow Springs with you. I know I'm coming out there.
And
I
we
look
appreciate
forward to having you out there.
Yeah.
We'll have fun.
I'll bring Bob because he really can't drive.
Yeah.
He blames
I can't
me,
drive
but it's
55.
him.
Yeah. Which Bob are we talking about?
I had a student today in our class, and I said, "This is going to be the best 3 days of your life." And she said, "Do you think it will be better than my honeymoon?" I went, "Absolutely."
Hey, Rick, thank you for calling in. We do appreciate it. I know you got to get some rest because you got this class again tomorrow, don't you?
Tomorrow and Thursday.
Tomorrow and Thursday. All right, contact him. Find out. You can become a stunt driver. You never know. And if nothing else, you'll have a bunch of fun.
Yep.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Dang, some of those scenes do look pretty outrageous.
I want to learn how to slide.
I want to do that again. That is cool. Not again. I mean, I do that. Never mind.
I do that out of school.
Well, see, here back when I was a teen, the shopping malls weren't open on Sundays. On the rainy days, I'd go out and I'd do that in their parking lots.
You're very naughty.
I taught myself how to do sliding and all sorts of stuff and driving like that, and it helped me out many years later when I started racing. because I knew what to do when a car got into a skid. So, yeah, we can do that. Now, on the phone with us right now also is Chris, and he's getting ready to come out to Southern California to do some vanning. He's going to bring out the original Wild Cherry from the movie Van Nuys Boulevard. Chris, how you doing today?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. You getting that van all ready to go?
Final preparation this week.
All right. The pictures look great. I mean, that candy apple red and the gold leaf on the side. That van is exciting, and I can't wait because the talk here on Facebook and such about you coming back out, I know a lot of the van clubs, the Vandits and AV Vans, they're all talking about coming out just to be on Van Nuys Boulevard when you make your cruise.
Awesome. Yeah, there's been a lot of excitement. My inbox and my Facebook has blown up this week, Monday and Tuesday. I've been trying to, make announcements and everything on my Facebook page, Wild Cherry Van.
Yeah.
And share the event as well. That's called Wild Cherry Van Run 2018.
Good. All right. Well, we got everyone on that. You're going to be out here. You're going to make it out here, what, either Tuesday or Wednesday? I know we're doing the cruise on Wednesday.
Right. I believe we'll actually roll into town Tuesday afternoon,
okay.
And we're staying at the Airtel Hotel on Valjean Boulevard.
Okay.
We'll stay there Tuesday night, and Wednesday there's a free car show in the
parking lot there.
Yep, at the Airtel Hotel, and there's hot dogs and hamburgers and that you can. All you can eat if you want to purchase that. And then after 5:30, we'll be cruising Van Nuys.
Cruising Van Nuys Boulevard. We're going to be part of it. I'm going to bring the hot rod down. I know a bunch of people bringing their vans out. It's going to be a great Wednesday cruise night starting at the Airtel on Valjean and going to Van Nuys Boulevard just like the good old days, except we're older than we were back then, and we probably won't get as many tickets.
Hey, wait, maybe you're older, pal. I'm just the same.
I never grew up, but I did get older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Just like that?
No, no, not like that. We're showing the video right now of when you first picked up the van after the tree fell on it.
Awesome.
But now, there's a sample right now on screen is a sample of how shiny and red this thing really is now.
Yeah, this is going to be sweet.
So we're going to be looking forward to it. We'll do some Facebook Live when you get down here and we start cruising Van Nuys Boulevard. Chris, thank you for calling in. We just wanted to remind everybody about what's going on and that you're going to be out here next Wednesday for a car show and cruise night.
That's correct, Bob. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. I
Chris.
can't wait to see everybody on the boulevard.
Be great meeting you too. Take care now.
Absolutely. Going to get you on the boulevard.
Gonna get you.
Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're going to switch directions here. We talked about learning how to drive fast and becoming a stunt driver. We talked about a great van for just plain cruising. Now we're going to talk to Kevin and Bill about reopening a drag strip. Now, this is the unusual thing. We keep hearing about drag strips.
That is unusual.
Yeah, we keep hearing about drag strips closing, but Showtime Drag Strip in North Carolina is opening back up, and the main force behind it is Kevin, and Bill's going to race it. Bill's going to do old school. Bill's got his Mach 1 Mustang, the Cobra Jet, and Bill's got a Hemi Challenger. And we're taking bets as to who's going to win. I know what Bill thinks, and I know what Kevin thinks. But we got to talk to them about it.
All right. Welcome, Kevin and Bill.
How you guys doing? This is Bill Quay here.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Quite well. Kevin, you there?
Oh, he should be.
He should be.
Interesting. All right.
Yes, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Good. All right.
Hey, I hope you guys are weathering the storm, so to speak, a little better than we're hearing on the news.
Not actually. I just spent 4 hours in 2-mile-an-hour traffic up here in Beckley, Virginia. I'm headed to Lake of the Ozarks to go to Bike Week, and Kevin, he's trying to figure out how to get out of town, too, because they just did a whole county evacuation on us, so we got some issues.
Man,
yeah, that's what we're hearing on the news out here. When you told me about it the other night when we spoke, I started checking things out. Tell us about Showtime Drag Strip. This is a real big undertaking for you guys.
Yeah, let Kevin tell you about it. He's good with this.
All right, Kevin, what's up?
Well, we're excited about the opportunity. The guy behind it all, his name is Gerald Stallings. He's the owner of the track, and basically, when he found out, how much community interest was in this track, he decided to give it a go at opening it back up to the public.
Well, that's great. Now, how long has the track been closed?
The track has been closed since about 2013. It was put into service back in 1967 and ran under a few different names during that time period. But now that Gerald has it, he wants to hit Showtime Dragstrip now. And he's been working tirelessly on his vacation days, giving it a fresh go over, So he's really putting a lot of time and effort into this, as well as a few folks from the community pitching in.
What city or where is it located? Because some of the confusion may come in is there's a Showtime Dragstrip in Florida.
Well, this is here in New Bern, North Carolina. Okay. It's actually on the Bridgeton side of the river, but it's still considered, I guess, New Bern as far as mailing addresses go. And it's at 300 Dragstrip Road, which happens to be off of another road called Old Vanceboro Road.
Okay.
And it's just a couple of miles outside of the city of New Bern on Highway 17.
So what is the plan for races? Are you going to be putting on regular bracket races or grudge racing? What's the plan? And any sanctioning?
Right now, it's an unsanctioned track. There's not any current plans for sanctioning through either NHRA or local, but that could change. I think that Gerald is pretty much open to just about every kind of drag racing possible. So I know there'll be some bracket racing. There's sure going to be some grudge racing, and we're going to try to get things rolling here between Bill and myself with this match race call-out business that's coming into us from the West Coast.
All right, tell us about this grudge race you guys got going. I mean, you've got a Challenger with a Hemi, and Bill's got this old school Mustang. I've seen the Mustang run.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a great testament to the old Ford muscle Mustangs of the past, but it's still got to go up against the brand new, state of the art, high tech Challenger.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess there was something I didn't say for the last 12 years that, that's a numbers matching 429 car and transmission and everything else, but I actually had it stroked. It's a 544 stroker with a trans brake in it and everything else. I always ran it soft to run bracket races at Irwindale and didn't want to put a cage in it. But since we're unsanctioned, I can actually turn this thing up with a couple screws. So I think Kevin's got the best of me, but you never know. That old horse, it can go out there and grunt. I know he wants to make some kind of stew and steak thing out or snake thing. How did Kevin, what was the expression?
Yeah, what I told him was we're going to serve up a nice Western dish I like to cook. It's called horse meat and snakehead stew.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Woo-hoo. Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, now I don't know what Chrysler calls the new Hemi. I know the old one's called an elephant motor, but I don't know if they've got a nickname for the new Hemis. But I could see something coming up, and you got the Cobra Jet, and we can do a play on the Mongoose and the Snake, and
there's something there.
Something's going to happen with this, And Bill, have you? We know Bill raced, but Kevin, what's your experience behind the wheel racing?
Oh, I did a little bit of younger style racing back when I was a teenager, but just this year got back into doing more of the track sanctioned drag racing up here on the IHRA tracks here in my local area. So I would say I'm kind of new to the game. It's been a long time.
One thing I want to bring out, and I kind of did this on a little bit of an intro before you guys called in, was you are a Marine.
Yes, sir.
And we want to thank you very much for your service. This is a very sad day for all first responders and military personnel, but we definitely want to thank you for your service. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps. I served in 3 different wars, and I enjoyed every minute of my service, whether it was being a drill instructor or a tech control chief. So I spent a lot of time doing military communications, which is actually what I'm still doing today, and just doing it on the outside, supporting all 4 branches of service at this particular juncture. But we still spend a lot of time with our Marine brethren every day.
Well, we do appreciate that, and I'm thankful for what you do and what you've done, because you are helping keep us safe.
And free.
And free, definitely.
Well, thank you for that.
And has Bill sold you any real estate lately?
Not yet. He said he had some beachfront property, but I think it's fixing to get washed away.
Well, either that or it's
dragstrip.
yeah. Well, the beachfront's moving a little closer inland now. I mean,
Yes, sir.
the Gulf of North Carolina.
Why I'm headed
Yeah.
for Lake of the Ozarks. I'm headed for the center of the United States. I'm going to take it easy there. That's for sure. That's the one part Kevin mentioned about, he's new to racing again, and he's got that high-tech car. And since I've been racing since I was a kid, I guess I've learned all this stuff from guys like you, Bob, who've taught me everything and all these little track things. And I'm hoping that comes to play, and that's my word I can beat Kevin with, because he's definitely got me out horsepowered. I mean, I said to him the other day, I said, how many horsepower you got? And he goes, well, I got over 1,100, and then I got nitrous. So.
Yeah, but does the nitrous go to the engine or to the driver?
I don't know. That's a good one there.
I always like, you watch guys at the drag strip and they purge the nitrous lines, and all this, smoke cloud of nitrous goes up in the air. I've always thought that was a waste. You should run that purge line to the helmet. Make the driver happy.
Oh, make the driver happy. I agree with that one wholeheartedly. But Kevin's a pretty nice guy. He's helping everybody out in the community. We've had good response. Even Clay Milliken, he called in with their brakes program. So there's some agencies want to do some good stuff with Beat the Heat and save some kids out here. So and some adults. So,
yeah,
Kevin's
definitely
really good at it. But we've got Mr. Gerald Stallings, who's out there. He's the owner. Mm-hmm. He's still working a full job. He's been at 48 years at Weyerhaeuser at a logging mill, okay? Wow. And he's working every day, and he's going out there at that drag strip, cutting grass, repairing things, and doing stuff. You talk about a great American going out there and doing it old school. And all he wants to do is when he finally retires after 48 years in that log mill, that he wants to listen to them race cars go up and down that track.
I can understand that.
Right.
All right, so when's the opening day of the drag strip?
Well, right now we have a preliminary event going on. We don't want to call it the grand opening, but we're having a car show and our grudge match, which will be going on the 20th of October.
Okay.
And I think what the biggest holdup right now, before getting into some more dedicated full-time racing, is getting the rest of the track the way Mr. Gerald wants it. He doesn't do anything halfway, and he wants it perfect. He wants it just right for the people.
No, that's good. So, that's great to hear. I'm tired of hearing about drag strips closing. Here's one opening. So, those of you that are watching on the East Coast or the South, here's another place for you to go race. Please support this new drag strip, Showtime Drag Strip in what's the name of the city again?
New Bern,
North Carolina. And I'll tell you what, if I can get back there, I'm going to try and figure out a way to do it. I know I can harass Bill plenty, and let me get on the PA for a little bit, and I can do some West Coast harassment from Bill. I haven't had a chance to do that. He hasn't been out to Irwindale in a long time, so I haven't had a chance to do that. But we'll do that. We'll get him going. And hopefully this thing works out good. You got to let me know shortly before the track opens up, maybe the first week in October. Give us a call in again, and we'll talk about the opening and try and let more people know about it, and hopefully get you a good crowd. I'm sure you're going to. The word of mouth is definitely getting out there.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for that.
Not a problem. We do appreciate you opening that strip. We appreciate your service. Bill?
I would like to interject something.
You would like to interject something?
Can we have the Humvee drags and have the Marines come out and race?
The Humvee
drags.
They don't have a sand clock. Those things are not very fast
you
off
could
the
let them
line.
old military boys get down there and race. They're going to have so much fun.
I agree. Bring the guys in on the National Guard or someone in, or the Marines that are off.
And have them race
if there's
each other.
a Marine base around there, they can bring in their and just let them run down the track. That would be
the Jeep
great.
drags.
The Jeep drags. Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
Oh yeah, your mom's just getting a little hungry.
I think it's fun, and I'm just sitting here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely opening our invitation out to the Wounded Warrior Battalion.
Good.
To come out and participate, at no cost. And if they have a car that they want to bring out, we'd love to have it. And it's just Mr. Gerald's way of giving back.
You might be the only ones doing that. That is so cool. That could be a whole event in itself.
Mm-hmm. It could be.
Yes.
It could be, let's go to Camp Dragstrip and hang out.
That's right.
That'd be awesome. I want to go. Bob, can I go with you?
You can go with me.
Well, thanks for all you do.
You explain it to Stormy. I'll explain it to Peg, and we'll.
No, I appreciate all you do. My family is military family. They go all the way back to World War I, so I support it.
And your mom was with USO,
and my
wasn't
mom my mom was in the USO, and she was one of the first entertainment troops deployed with the Army to Hiroshima.
Wow.
So they just acknowledged her and did a tribute for her at the USO Bob Hope in Riverside. Or is it Ontario?
Ontario Airport, yeah.
And then she was on Paul Loeffler's program, Hometown Heroes. And they have an honor flight program where they fly the veterans out to the memorial, the monument in Washington. So we're pro-military in my house. So I'm wearing my American flag dress today.
Look at her. I mean, how
for
patriotic can she be? That's
and
it.
We're going to pledge allegiance to my flag dress.
There you go.
Because I miss America today. Because I love this country
There you go.
and what we do. And thanks to Kevin for what you do.
And thanks for opening the track.
Thank you very much.
We do appreciate you guys both calling in. Bill, Kevin, thank you very much. And I hope the storm does not affect you too badly. You're going to get wet, but I hope that's all you have to see.
Okay, you guys take care out in the West Coast, and shout out to all my racer friends. Thanks, Bob and Anna.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to do a little flashback to the 1960s. Chevrolet decided to produce a very revolutionary compact car. And we're going to see it in just a moment. You're going to see the promo video that was sent to all the dealers to introduce the very wacky Corvair.
Unlike most people who are interested in the Corvair, you want to know what it can do in action, out on the road. You want proof that the Corvair can deliver the goods, give you more of what you're looking for in a compact car. And here it is, dramatic proof that the Corvair delivers the goods as no other compact car can. Years ago, in its early development stages, Chevrolet engineers began testing disguised Corvairs, began making the Corvair a road car. They made it a compact car with power, traction, and ruggedness. They put into the Corvair a suspension system to tackle the roughest road and level it off for its passengers. Chevrolet designers and engineers used all their know-how to make this 1960 Corvair the compact car that people could count on. But they didn't stop there. There was more testing, double-checking, retesting. Here at the challenging Lime Rock, Connecticut Raceway, the 1960 Corvair was really put through its paces, made to prove itself. And it did. It proved its stability, and then some. Just watch how the Corvair stays under control in this situation. Now see how the Corvair proved its maneuverability and ease of handling. some rough going. Look at that fender line. See how level the Corvair's body stays. Now watch the Corvair prove that it's got the power, the traction, the stamina to go just about anywhere. Just look at this. Using this stream for its highway, the Corvair actually plowed along like this for over 20 miles. And not once did its reliable turbo air engine falter. Now watch this sample of how the Corvair can stop. Now they're making it tougher for the Corvair brakes. That's slippery foam they're putting on the road, the same type used on runways to help disabled planes slide into safe belly landings. Watch the Corvair handle it. What more could they ask the Corvair to do? Well, just look. The Corvair proved its ruggedness in special crash tests. Not once, but over and over again. Just to see how it would stand up, they tried to make the Corvair roll over. It wouldn't. They locked the wheels, so it had to roll over. And asked for more. Yes, sir, the Corvair's as good as she looks. Corvair power, ruggedness, maneuverability, handling, traction, braking, all proved again and again. Not much doubt about it, is there, that this is the car that gives you more of what you're looking for in a compact car. Sure, the Corvair has more, and the Corvair is ready and able to prove it.
That is so cool. You know, I love watching these old videos about the cars because these are the cars I grew up with when I was a kid, way back in the early days. But to see the promotional ads, and this was a video that actually went out to the dealers so they could learn about what the Corvair was like before it actually got on the streets. Yeah. And it's interesting to see how they wasted up those 59 Chevys that people are really clamoring over. You know, said, Corvair crash, yeah, big deal. But look at what it did to that Chevy Impala, and, you know, and the wagon, too. I mean, gee whiz.
We're all saying, hey, speaking of old family cars.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so
there we go.
There's me on the extreme left.
Yes.
And then a bunch of family members here. Anyway, if you follow through to the door frames and whatnot, there's the bus I was talking about earlier. This is our Volkswagen bus, brand new in 1970.
The Magic Bus, yes.
Yeah, that's my dad's brother in the red shirt on the left, and that's my dad in the red shirt on the right, with his fantastic, fabulous sunglass-wearing wife right beside him. I almost said mom, but that would be my mom. So let's see now. Here's what the bus looks like now.
Oh, a little worn.
Yeah,
Patina.
it's
awesome.
Unrestored, though.
Yeah.
Completely unrestored. And let's see. Here's what we're using for a defroster during a rainstorm in Gallup, New Mexico. A little Minnie Mouse water sprayer.
There we go.
Yeah. The bus stopped at the St. Louis Arch, where I took a fantastic artsy picture of my brother leaning against the arch. Which is,
they don't serve hamburgers there either. It's not that kind of arch. Huh?
Yeah, different kind of arch.
Different kind of arch.
Anyway, by the way, let's see. Let me grab
Yes.
this. Along for the ride was the my dad's movie camera. Yeah, it's a Kodak
8 millimeter.
Yeah, 8 millimeter. Let's get the sound here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I remember those.
Now there's I took film, but you got to have it developed. So
that's the problem.
Sammy's camera.
Yeah, Sammy's camera.
It's $45 a cartridge for that.
And
for the
each
film.
reel is 2 minutes.
But it's awesome footage.
I've got a lot of that stuff when I started racing. Well, we didn't have video cameras back in the old days. We had 8 millimeter. I've got about 30 or 40 videos of the old, sports car racing back in the 70s and 80s, and I want to get it put onto a video so I can watch the thing, on a CD.
Sure.
They want like $30 a tape to do it.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
that's cheap.
It ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna figure out something.
How about USC Film School student project?
I could try that. That's a
Have
good
them
idea.
Transfer your footage.
All right. Yeah. Now we got a couple more things to talk about, and time's going pretty quickly. We're having so much fun here. In studio with us right now is Cynthia Hernandez. And Cynthia, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You're good. Did I catch you off guard there?
We were chatting. I was looking at Anna. We were having a girl party.
Yeah. Now, Cynthia, you're part of a team of ladies that are putting together a GMC pickup truck.
Correct.
Now, tell us a little bit about the project, and it's at the Driving Museum in Los Angeles, or El Segundo.
It's at the Automobile Driving Museum in El Segundo.
Uh-huh.
And I've been volunteered on there, a docent, for almost 2 years now. And they came to me and asked if I wanted to lead a restoration project. They found a little pickup truck, and they said that they thought it'd be a great idea. We thought it'd be a great idea to have an all-female team. So I got to go and pick up the truck somewhere out in the valley here, and we towed it back to the museum. And this past year at our all-girls vintage car show, we put up flyers and everything inviting girls who wanted to be a part of this project to sign up and everything. And we got a good team together. And girls join us still to this day. Some can, come every Sunday. We do it on Sundays. So it's a little slow going because of that. But so we started this all-girls restoration team, and it's so much fun.
It's a GMC pickup.
It's a
1955. 55. So it's a second series, 1955 GMC, because 55 was a split year for Chevrolet and GMC pickups. There's a first series that's basically the 48 with updates, but then halfway through the year they introduced the second series, and you're working on a second series GMC, which is really cool because it's different from a Chevrolet.
Oh yeah, it is different, and it has it's got the Pontiac motor in it, so it's the V8, the Hydromatic. It's pretty cool, and it's super cute.
Yeah, and it's neat. You guys, you're doing it as stock as you possibly can. You're not doing real updates to it. You're just trying to get it back to the way it was.
Exactly. We want to keep it as stock as we can, and we just really want to get it running and see how things go. So we've got a lot of things apart already. We're starting to put the brakes on, and we've got the new gas tank in. We've ordered the bed kit. We've changed the water pump. We've got new, small things like the valve covers coming in, just all that little stuff.
All the good stuff.
All the fun, good stuff.
Now, was it running when you got it?
Yes, it was running, but it had no brakes.
No, that's not a problem.
With everything. Yeah, no, it was fine. We just,
Yeah. Just keep your distance.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And the project you're going to show this off, and again, you're going to have the Women's Day again at the museum.
The all-girls vintage car show.
Vintage car show, and that drew almost 250 cars last year.
Oh, yeah.
That was huge.
And every year it seems to get bigger. That was the second time they did it, and next year is going to be even bigger.
Good.
So, yeah, it's exciting.
That is fun. And
what day is the all-girls car show?
I'm not sure of the exact date yet, but I think that it's going to be in March.
Yeah, it always seems to be in March.
Yeah,
And that works out good. The weather normally is pretty decent. It's not hot.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. And the museum was open. You got to see some great cars there. All right. And you're part of it. You're going to bring out your little Dodge Dart.
I probably will.
You got it. What year Dodge Dart do you have?
She's a 65.
1960 convertible.
Little convertible GT. Yep.
So you get to drive topless.
Hey,
exactly.
No wonder I'm attending next year.
There's lots of girls with convertibles.
Lots of girls driving topless to the show.
My sister has a 65 Mustang convertible. Man, I should have gotten in on that game.
Oh, yeah.
I have a hard top.
Yeah.
I should bring my Mustang to that show.
You should.
Yes. Oh,
Take it out of
absolutely.
storage and bring it.
Either that or get Stormy to let you drive the dragster down the street.
Hey.
No, my car's better.
Your car's better, yeah.
My car's called the Pussycat Lounge. Because I have leopard sheepskins in it.
That's true. Awesome. There are some differences to your Mustang. It's a gilding, actually, but that's another story altogether.
Oh, Bob. Oh,
See, boys are no fun. They don't name their cars.
Yeah. Well,
that's funny.
Moving right along as we go along, we've got another thing to talk about, and it's another girl type thing. There's a new car show coming on. And we got to let Bruce pull that up here. But a young lady that Randy and I were emceeing a car show, and one of the young ladies got chosen to be on a car show. And this is a new show that's coming out very soon, and she is one of the main characters in the show. And we'll let that go for you. Get some sound for him.
The game here is to start with something that costs about $500 to $1,000, and I turn it into a cool car. Then I take that cool car and I trade it for a badass car. Put the Gotham Garage stamp on it, and I'll turn it into a ride that I can sell for 6 figures.
I've never worked with anybody like this guy.
I'm an outside-the-box builder. It's all about fixing problems in a different way.
Another Gotham Garage Frankenstein vehicle?
You got to get creative.
I feel like you have a bad habit of bringing back half cars.
I take away shiny and bring back turds, right? There is no way I could build the cars that I build without the crew that I have. Constance, she's one of the best motor girls I've ever seen. Tony, he's a machinist, he's an engineer.
Demo time, hey buddy. Yeah.
Then there's Caveman. He can rip anything apart, and he can put it back together. Everybody here has skin in the game.
I know you want to shake my hand right now, and it's a done deal.
We don't get a big payday until we get our hands on that 6-figure car.
Who wants to know how good we did?
Hey, can I get out? Can I get out? What's up, brother?
What is this?
I forgot to put the door handles on the inside.
All right, so Constance Nunes was the young lady that was the trophy presenter with Randy and I at the ALS, or not the ALS, but the car show last year that her sister actually puts on. Cassie Nunes puts on a great show. It's coming up soon, yeah. And we'll publicize that a little bit more. It's coming up in October, so we'll let you know more about that at our next show. And Randy and I will be back. There's Constance right there with Caveman, and she is definitely a motor girl. It comes from a motoring family. Her dad operates a shop out in the Simi Valley area, and I'm sure Cassie will correct me as to where the actual location is, because I really don't know. I know Ernie, but I really don't know where the shop is.
Well, admittedly,
but she'll let us know.
The Lincoln Futura caught my eye.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, I was just drooling. We got the mop crew here right now.
Yeah, well, you look at that Ventura was actually the fiberglass reproduction, and it looks like it was kind of based. Well, it was the original Batmobile.
Yes,
was based on that car. He bought it. George Barris bought the car from Ford. It was the next show car, and they made a whole bunch of repops or reproductions of it. I love this chrome wrapped Thunderbird Roadster.
It's gorgeous.
That is just so cool. And another classic chopped up to make it cool.
Hey, so good for Constance. Now, is this? I'm trying to remember where this show is going to be on Netflix. I don't know.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's very cool. Good for her.
Yeah, so Constance is going to be on, and again, we'll be sharing the mic with her. We'll be doing trophy presentations, both Randy and I are doing, and we'll be doing a great show that Cassie puts on. We'll let you know more about that. It is a benefit show for diabetes, and she's already, I believe, exceeded the entries of the previous year, and it's going to make some more money for that charity. So we'll be talking about that next month. And I'm sure Cassie's going, all right, we mentioned it. I hope she's been watching. She's been posting on...
Of course she's been watching. Is there any doubt? Hey, Bob, I've got a video here of the B-24 Liberator assembly line at Willow Run. Was this something we were going to show tonight because it's 9/11?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what we were going to do.
All right. It's a bit long, so it may be something that we can, start. In fact, I'm going to do something here.
What was that, the B-51?
B-24.
Isn't that like a hot rod in the sky?
It was the hot rod of the sky at the time. It was probably the best bomber available towards the close of World War II, and is the plane that helped end World War II.
And of course, Willow Run is a Ford assembly plant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Willow Run is still active anymore.
I'm not quite sure, but it was the biggest manufacturing plant built at the time, and they were running these things. We got some sound on this that tells you how many they were producing, but they were producing one every 55 minutes.
Do you know what my Uncle Joe did in World War II?
No.
He created the hydraulic braking system on those planes that stopped them on the aircraft carriers.
That's very good.
Yeah.
All right, Cassie just told me Thousand Oaks is where her dad's shop is.
Okay. T.O. as the locals call it.
That's it.
Let's listen to a little bit of this audio. Here we go.
4 inches from nose to tail. Powered by 4 1,200 horsepower air-cooled engines, the lid can carry 10 men, 4 tons of bombs, and 5,000 rounds of machine gun ammunition at better than 300 miles per hour at high altitude. The B-24, as it is officially designated, can fly 3,000 miles non-stop. It was believed impossible to build a bomber as big as the Liberator in an hour. In fact, in several hours. Even the conception of a plant such as this was viewed with considerable skepticism. But the people at Ford have vision as well as skill. They have always planned and worked on a broad scale, have always struck out on pioneering paths, and they're wise in the ways of mass production. Of course, this was something new in assembly, not just another relatively simple automobile with only 15,000 or so parts to be made and assembled. Each of these machines is made up of 1,225,000 parts, and each had to be perfect. And in these lines, you see the evidence of another Ford-made miracle. The Willow Run bomber plant has furnished one of the miracle production stories of this war. It produced 8,685 bombers in a steady stream, relentless, unceasing, on time, as methodical as a great river fed by its tributaries. These ships are the product of experience. Constant changes, some dictated by service conditions, have given to the Army Air Force's bombers that fly farther, faster, and higher, with the result that the final marbles look far different than their older cousins. After the ship was built, Ford's job was not yet done, because each ship, each of the thousands made at Willow Run, had to be thoroughly tested by both ground and flight crews. .50 caliber machine guns were fired, and steel bullets buried themselves in the sand pit. Engines were revved up to takeoff speed. In some, dummy bombs were loaded to test the racks. But in all the planes, hours and hours were spent in tests and checks by specially trained ground crews before functional tests aloft. From Flight Operations Center, 4-man test crews took over. These crews consisted of pilot, co-pilot, radio man, and flight engineer. A touch on the hydraulic button, and the bomb bay door opens to give access to the ship. Engines start. And she taxis out to the runway for her first flight. The big ship gathers speed rapidly, racing down the runway for a full power takeoff. We're airborne and the wheels are retracted into their wing well. In the air, the belly turret is lowered and tested. Each of the 4 propellers is fully feathered. When the pilot readjusts the blades, the rush of wind will again start the engine. Bomb bay doors are open and closed. The flight engineer checks performance of the engines and equipment, including the inner communication system, after which the bomb bay doors are opened again, and the dummy bombs are away. Test completed, our ship peels off. This ship is strong, with strength built in by skilled brains and hands, with all the experience that Ford has gained over the years of mass production. For the Army Air Forces, it has strength to fly and fight, and return to fly and fight again and again. The pilot signals the control tower and prepares to bring her down. We will soon see for ourselves how this modern miracle of mass
Now, some of you might be wondering why we're showing an airplane on a show about cars. Well, during World War II, the car manufacturers all switched over to wartime production. Ford was instrumental in building the B-24s. They built them at the Willow Run plant, which is a Ford plant. All the manufacturing of cars stopped probably December or January, I believe it was, of 1941-42, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. All auto manufacturers switched over to war manufacturing. Mm-hmm. Ford was one of the producers of not only the B-24s, but Jeeps.
Yeah.
And they had the opportunity to continue with the Jeep after World War II ended in 1945 and chose not to. Now, Willys chose to take it, and Willys started producing civilian Jeeps. The Jeep was actually not designed by either one of those. It was designed by Bantam, which was a compact car manufacturer in the country at the time, but they weren't big enough to build them. Now, there's a difference between a Willys Jeep and a Ford Jeep, even though they were built side by, the same time. They had to be exactly the same, so that when they were out in the field, it didn't matter what parts you had, which one you had, the parts would all fit.
Right.
Well, Ford said, no, I can't. I got to do something different. So if you ever find a Jeep, if it's a Ford, it has a Ford tag on the dashboard, kind of like a VIN tag.
Sure.
But it also has the bolts with a Ford or an F logo on the top.
How about that?
So if you see a Willys Jeep and it's got an F on the bolt, it's a Ford bolt. If you see a Ford Jeep and it has no marking on it, it's not the original bolt. Huh. All the bolts on the Ford version of the Jeep had either the Ford logo or the letter F on it to signify it was a Ford-built vehicle. And I've come across a couple of 1942-43 Jeeps that I've had to do appraisals on that were Fords. And it has confused the heck out of the underwriters at the insurance companies, that because A, they're too young, and B, they don't know what the car stuff, but they didn't realize that Ford built the Jeep. Everyone thinks Willys, AMC, Chrysler built the Jeep. And the reality was, during World War II, all the manufacturers supported the war effort, and they built Ford and what became, or Willys, what became merged into Jeep was AMC. Then later on, Chrysler bought AMC, but they built the Jeeps. Now we talk about some cars. Everyone did something.
Yes.
And even Tucker the ill-fated cars that really the manufacturers helped kill. But Tucker was building the cockpit covers, the plexi windshields and so forth for the planes at that time.
Yeah, and of course other auto manufacturers were building, I think GM was involved in building tanks, at least tank engines, and armaments too, munitions.
And so was Chrysler.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Chrysler built Jeep, and they built the Jeeps, and their transmission that came out in the cars later on, the manual transmission with a torque converter. In the Plymouths, they called it a high drive. In the Dodges, they called it a gyromatic drive. It was basically the first stage of an automatic transmission. It had a clutch and a clutch pedal, but it was on a torque converter back to a 3-speed manual transmission. Basically, you couldn't stall it.
Yeah.
You just needed the clutch to shift. Once you were in gear, you didn't need the clutch anymore. So it was an interesting concept. It was the first step of an automatic transmission for the low-priced cars.
Yeah.
All right, we got another show just about. It's over. I tell you, time flies by fast.
Man, woof.
And we're glad you tuned in. I'd like to thank our guest, Cynthia Hernandez, sitting here in the middle.
Thanks.
We picked on her a little bit.
Good to see you guys.
As always, it's Anna Octane in her very patriotic dress.
I know. I said, oh, man, I got a tie like that, and I didn't. Oh, but you know what? I'm wearing the Great American Auto Scene colors with the name American in the middle.
That's right, Great American Auto Scene. And it's some of you, it's not about American autos. It's the Great American Auto Scene.
Yes.
What is in the automotive scene, on the streets, on the tracks, everywhere.
Right. We might talk about the Renault Dauphine next.
You know, and I had one in college.
Did you?
All right, this is the show about hot rodding. What's hot, what's not, what could be, and what should be. We're glad you tuned in. Like us on Facebook, like me on Facebook, Bob Beck, and Anna Octane. Cynthia Hernandez is there too.
Yeah.
You can check her out there on Facebook, and the girls in the garage building the car at the El Segundo Driving Museum. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you the second week of October. We'll be back. But join us at Cruising for a Cure, the biggest one-day car show in Southern California, happening September 22nd at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Randy Cardoon and I will be broadcasting live right there from the show.
I will mark my calendar. Mark my words.
Mark your words.
All right.
All right, guy.
All right, good night, everybody. The Encore Show comes up next, right here on most of these Great American Auto Scene stations.